So in question 16, we have 2 times 3 cubed over 6 squared, all the thing squared, and then we times 5 to the power of 0. So first of all, this thing is just equal to 1, so we can just ignore it. So we're just focusing on our left part. So as our 6 can be writing as 2 times 3, so 6 squared is actually equal to 2 times 3 squared. Then we can distribute the power into it. So we have 2 squared times 3 squared. Then we can writing as 2 times 3 cubed as the numerator, divided by this 6 squared, which is equal to 2 squared times 3 squared. Then we have 2 squared times 3 squared, and the whole thing squared. So now we can simplify something here. We have this is equal to, on the 3 parts, as this is power of 3 and this is power of 2, we can just using our formula, a to the power of m divided by a to the power of n. We minus the power. So in this situation, we just use our 3 to minus our 2 to get the 3 to the power of 1 divided by 2 to the power of 1. Because this one, we can just using this 2 to minus this one and left it inside the denominator. Then the whole thing squared. So this is equal to 3 over 2 squared, which will give you 9 over 4. So that's for 16. Now we are going to do question 17. So question 17, almost all of the students don't know how to do it. I know it's a little bit hard, but you need to get provided with this kind of the questions. So for question 17, we have 3 to the power of n squared times 3 to the power of 2n cubed. So as I taught before, when you have a power to a power, you just times them together. So we have 3 to the power of 2n times 3 to the power of 2n times 3 will give you a 6n. As we have the 2n times 3 is equal to 2 times 3 times n. We do this part first, then we have 6n. Then next, we can using our formula of a to the power of m times a to the power of n. Then we can plus the power together. So we just plus this 2n together with this 6n. Then we have this is equal to 3 to the power of 2n plus 6n. Give you the answer of 3 to the power of 8n. So next question, question 18, we have 2 to the power of n cubed times 4 to the power of n. So as 4, this 4, we can write it as 4 is equal to 2 squared, right? So we can write it as 2 squared, the whole thing to the power of n. So again, we have a power of a power. We times them together to get 2 to the power of 3n times 2 to the power of 2n. As this is the same thing, a power of a power. Then we times the power together. And after that, we can just plus the power together, as there's 2 things times together with the same base. So we can say that is equal to 2 to the power of 3n plus 2n. And so for 19, we have 3 to the power of 2n squared times 9 to the power of n. Again, we can using our 9 is equal to 3 squared to do these questions. So on the left hand side, we have 3 to the power of 4n, as this again is the power of a power. We times them together to get this 4n, and then we times the 3 can change to 3 squared, and the whole thing to the power of n. Then we simplify the right part. We have 3 to the power of 2n, because this is a power of a power. Then we times them together to get this 2n. Then again, we have same base. We're doing the times. We can plus the power together to get 3 to the power of 4n plus 2n. Moving to question 20, we have 2m to the power of 3 divided by 4m, 4 to the power of m, times 6 to the power of 0. So anything to the power of 0 apart from 0, which is equal to 1, so we just ignore this. And 4, we can change again to 2 squared. So first of all, we can change it to 2m cubed divided by 2 squared to the power of n. Then we can make it to 2 to the power of 3n divided by 2 to the power of 2n. So again, this is a power of a power. We times it to get this 3n. Power of a power, 2 times n give you a 2n. This divide can just change to this fraction line. And again, we have the same base, and we're doing division. then we can just minus our power to have 2 to the power of 3n minus 2n to get the answer is 2 to the power of n. Alright, question 11, we have 5 to the power of minus n divided by 25 to the power of n. So 25 can be writing as 5 squared. We substitute in to get 5 to the power of negative n divided by 5 squared, the whole thing to the power of n. Because this 25 actually can be writing as 5 squared, so we have this bracket, the whole thing taking this to the power of n. And after that, we can do 5 to the power of negative n divide this 5 to the power of 2n. So power of a power, we times them together, 2 times n give you this 2n. This divide, which means that can change to a fraction sign. So again, this is equal to 5 to the power of negative n minus 2n, which will give you a 5 to the power of negative 3n. And we change it to a positive index, we have 5 to the power of 3n as the denominator. So again, this part is using the formula of a to the power of m divided by a to the power of n. We minus the power, then we can get this thing. Then after we do minus n minus 2n, which will give you a minus 3n. So by using a to the power of minus n will equal to 1 over a to the power of n, then you can change this negative sign to positive index. So moving to the last questions. Question 22, we have 7 to the power of negative n times 7 to the power of n, whole thing squared, divided by 7 to the power of negative 3. So first of all, we can do this part first. We can power to a power, we times them together, and we change this division to a fraction. Then we have 7 to the power of negative n times 7 to the power of 2n divided by 7 to the power of negative 3. Then we can using our formula of a to the power of n times a to the power of n is equal to a to the power of n plus n. To get the answer of the numerator, then we have 7 to the power of negative n plus 2n divided by 7 to the power of negative 3. So this is equal to 7 to the power of n divided by 7 to the power of negative 3. As this is a negative, we can change it back to the positive. Then we can have is equal to 7 to the n times 7 to the 3. And we're using our formula again to get 7 to the power of n plus 3. So that's for question 22. And we still have 4 multiple choice to do with. So question 27, so this is question 23. We have the negative of a negative 3n cubed. So as what I said, when there's a negative, we can take it as the whole thing, so negative 3, and then this is to the power of 3, we can distribute it to both of them. So keep the outside, the most outside negative, and keep the rest. So we have negative 3 to the power of 3, m to the power of 3. Remember, this negative is our last step to do it. So we do this power of 3 distributed to both of them. So please remember that negative 3 to the power of 3 is not necessarily equal to negative 3 cubed. Although they are actually equal, but sometimes remember this bracket because actually you're using this negative 3 taking the cube. So this means negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3. However, for this one, it's actually equal to the negative of 3 times 3 times 3. Okay, so that's the main difference between these two. So please bear in mind. So negative 3 cubed will give you a negative 27. So we have a negative of negative 27m cubed. And this part, we have 2 negative putting together. We have a positive. So the answer should be 27m cubed. The answer should be C. So for the multiple choice question 4, we have 4 to the power of 3n plus 1 divided by 8 to the power of 2n. Because our 4 can be changed to 2 squared, our 8 can be changed to 2 cubed, so the whole thing could change to 2 squared bracketed and outside to the power of 3n plus 1, and we have 2 to the power of 3, the whole thing to the power of 2n. Then we can, using our power of a power, we times them together, so we can say this is equal to 2 to the power of 2 times 3n plus 1 divided by 2 to the power of 3 times 2n. So now we can simplify it to get 2 to the power of 6n plus 2 divided by 2 to the power of 6n. So the answer will be equal to 2 to the power of 6n plus 2 minus the 6n. By using our formula, a to the power of m divided by a to the power of n is equal to a to the power of n minus n. So we can eliminate this 6n. So the answer is just 2 to the power of 2, which is equal to 4. So the answer will be B. And the next one we have is question 25. So question 25, we have 2 to the power of 1001, the whole thing cubed, divided by 2 to the power of 3000. So if you use the calculator, I think it's not okay to using it because the calculator can't calculate this large number, but we can do it by hand. Again, a power for power, times them together, then you get 2 to the power of 1001 times 3 divided by 2 to the power of 3000. So for the numerator, we can calculate this is equal to 2 to the power of 3003 divided by 2 to the power of 3000. Again, we're using our formula, a to the power of m divided by a to the power of n is equal to a to the power of n minus n. When two things divide with the same base, we minus the power. So this is equal to 2 to the power of 3003 minus 3000 will just give you 2 to the power of 3. So the answer is just 8. So the answer will be B. Okay, last question, 26 of the multiple choice. Then we have this is equal to 2 to the power of 2020 minus negative 2 to the power of 2020. And then we have minus the negative 2 to the power of 2020. So how can we do this? So it looks like very hard, but however, we can just do them step by step. First of all, for this negative 2, we can take out this negative first. So this is equal to 2 to the power of 2020 minus the minus 1 times 2 to the power of 2020. So again, this we have two negative, so we can get a plus. We can combine them to become a plus. So a plus 2 to the power of 2020. So for this part, this 2020 can distribute it to negative 1 and 2. So we have this is equal to 2 to the power of 2020 minus the minus 1 to the power of 2020 times 2 to the power of 2020 plus 2 to the power of 2020. So I told you before, when the negative 1 to the power of an even number will always give you a positive 1. So this is going to be equal to 2 to the power of 2020 minus the positive of 2 to the power of 2020, and then we plus 2 to the power of 2020. So these two things we just eliminated because they are just the same. So this is our final answer. The answer that we left is just 2 to the power of 2020. So the answer should be A.